Welcome back to CIM-BC, or CIM Vancouver. I'm not sure how they want us to say it.
I don't know. I just hashtag CIMBC18. So.
Oh, perfect. Anyway, it is our third day here.
That's right.
It has been busy. It's been exciting. We've given away literally hundreds of Martys. We've got hundreds of cards, talking to people. We've got, for this upcoming show, let me just stop right there. Let's make some introductions first. This is episode 9 of the Crownsman podcast.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Jared Downey. I'm the president of Crownsman Partners. And my lovely co-host is Gowdy Molina. She is Director of Management and Training at Crownsman Partners.
Good morning.
Good morning to you and to you.
Yes.
We've got a huge lineup. I think we're doing about 8 interviews today. That's just the ones that are scheduled. So
Wow.
it's going to be very intense.
Yes.
This episode is going to cover supplying mines in Canada. So we're going to talk about some of the numbers, how they get financed, some of the products that are being provided. We've got interviews with SGB, which is a German company. They make transformers.
Oh, cool.
I'm not going to explain too much about them. I'll let them do it. And with Sandvik, who is a major manufacturer of equipment, and they do engineering as well. And they do a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, they've got their own magazine. So.
And we won't give anything away. I mean, we'll
wait for them
be
to show
able
up.
to, yeah.
But we're going to give, before the show gets started, we'll talk about some numbers so you get some context of how much the economy relies on the supplying mining, the mining industry. We'll give you some numbers, give you some stats, all the interesting stuff. Then we'll bring them in for the interview, ask them some questions about their company, what's happening in the industry. Yeah, it'll be pretty straightforward. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be a good show.
Well, let's talk a little bit about kind of supplying mines in BC. How much do you know about it?
Well, our clients basically are all supply mines and in BC or into the energy sector.
Yeah.
So yeah, we know lots about the marketing into the mines.
It's funny because I literally just did a mass email for one of our clients about a lot of different mining equipment. So I get to see that on a daily basis, and trying to sell off equipment and that. So I kind of get a little glimpse of the different equipment out there being supplied to a lot of these mines.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of what we're seeing here is, I mean, this show is CIM is trying to raise awareness for the products lines, the technology. I mean, this show has really been focused on technology. We've done a couple podcasts about technology.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it's been a really good show, I think, for showcasing where the mining industry is going. It's really exciting, highlighting it. And I want to give, the first thing I have in my notes to talk about is that when we think of supplying the mining industry, we think of equipment, of course. The big trucks, the ball mills, the pumps, conveyor belts, conveyors.
But belts as well.
Conveyor systems. But there's a whole other side of it too. It's the infrastructure, the building companies, engineering firms, finance side, the banks, legal. There are so many moving parts. The accounting that it takes to go into these. It's a very I guess it's almost like an ecosystem to get these mines running, operating, keep them operating, help them operate, be profitable while they're operating, and so it's very multi-layered. We're going to be interviewing someone who both our interviews are for the equipment side, but there is a whole other side. So this is a topic we will definitely revisit again. We'll go specifically into the finance, specifically into engineering, even into the accounting. We will dig into those in later episodes because those are as key as the equipment that gets supplied.
Okay.
There's a thing here that a note that I found interesting, and this is all coming from the Mining Association of Canada, MAC, is that it's not mining supply is one of the things that's not very well tracked. So there's not as much information. So when we started digging into this, it's not like you look at construction. The construction industry. They know the different types of construction, the amount of money is being spent, the amount of the part that's funded by the government, the private sector, small businesses, large business, they know exactly what's happening. Mining doesn't have that sort of tracking for the supply side. So I
Oh.
think that's a thing that is starting to get more demand. And obviously, the more information you know, have interviewed so many companies here, the more information they know, the more data they have, the quicker they can move, the more efficiently they can move, and the more productive it is. So hopefully, and maybe we can play a small part in that, is starting to dig into getting them better numbers so that we do market research. But the thing is, when we're doing market research for a supply company, it's so specific to them. So it doesn't give you, it's very micro level as opposed to a macro level for just a general information. So hopefully that over time, the next few years, that becomes more developed. I think the suppliers are needing that. Give you some numbers here. According to the Mining Association of Canada, MAC, there are more than 3,700 suppliers to the mining industry that provide expertise which results in significant economic contributions. The number that puts Canada at number 3 in the
Wow.
world, after only the U.S., and anybody who knows the mining industry would know Australia.
Yeah.
Huge into the mining, and mining and equipment and supplying the mining industry.
Yeah.
Now, Canada is a global supplier. Our clients sell all over the world. Canada has a very good reputation for their equipment. The equipment they manufacture, a lot of people don't know, but a lot of the major brands are actually manufacturing the equipment in Canada. So it might be a Japanese company. I'm not going to obviously name companies right now because I don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah,
but
we don't want to do that.
yeah, but there's major companies that are a Japanese brand, but it's getting manufactured here in Canada. So very well respected, and it gives us a competitive advantage. That the gentleman from GHH that we interviewed 2 episodes ago now, or an episode ago,
Yeah.
yeah, he talked about how advanced, both U.S. and Canada are, but the markets are demanding more of the autonomous vehicles and VR, remote vehicles. So it's really exciting to be part of the Canadian market when
Yeah.
you have sort of this isn't mainstream media things, but in the mining industry, that we're sort of looked to as a beacon of where the mining industry should go, not for technology, safety, regulations. To be honest, those regulations have been challenged a bit in BC,
Yeah.
but in other provinces going forward. But I'm going to have to make a quick transition here because Rory is stepping in, and when Rory steps in, that means I have a guest.
Oh, let's bring him on.
You're going to let me get away with that? We have a guest. We are going to take a quick break from the show to introduce a new segment that we're going to have. Because we have so many guests coming up from so many industries, we're making a segment called Upcoming Shows. Mm-hmm. And we're going to focus on a very wide range of the industrial sectors, including energy, construction, agriculture, transportation, forestry, and of course mining. Basically, our goal in this show is to give a voice to industry.
That's right.
This segment is sponsored by Helly Hansen Workwear. We really appreciate them coming on, and not just supporting the show. That's one thing, but supporting industry.
Yes.
And we want to thank them for that. So our upcoming shows, we have Mauro Chiesa. He's an advisor for extraction and infrastructure projects. Mauro and I have been friends for several years now, and he's very blunt. He's not afraid to give his opinion. We pre-shot the interview, and it was a really good interview. He's just very engaged, and he's just talking about how to get mines off the ground, the challenges they face, how they need to overcome, what they need to do to overcome them. It's a really good interview. Please check it out. Next, we have Brent Hilscher from Sacredavy Engineering,
who is coming back, right?
For part 2.
Yeah.
For sensor-based ore processing. This was a very popular show, and it's a complicated topic, so I didn't really know how people were going to respond to it. Brent, when you speak with him, he's very intelligent man, and he's able to lay it out in a simple way that everybody can understand. And sensor-based technology spans all the industries we covered. Now, he is focused on the ore processing and the mining part of it, but it's applicable to all the industries.
Yeah.
So it's something people really want and should be learning about.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and you know what? With all the industries, which I love the pictures there. I actually wanted to talk about the gear that a lot of these industries or the people working in these industries use. I personally like Helly Hansen. I use it for my husband all the time. I buy it for him. He works in concrete, so he's outside most of the time, especially in the winter, and it rains a lot in Vancouver.
Welcome to Vancouver. Yeah, we are not exaggerating that it rains a lot in the winter.
Yeah, so, his Helly Hansen rain gear keeps him dry. The base layer is fantastic.
That's so nice.
Yes, it keeps you so warm. I actually use it also for going out into the snow because they have gear for that as well.
Yeah.
So skiing, snowboarding, anything.
Yeah, they actually, for people watching the show, they're doing a promo. So it's 20% off Helly Hansen workwear, but they also extended it so it's to just a Helly Hansen, the skiing and the hiking and everything. So it's everything. So they have two websites. There's hellyhansen.com, which is all their outdoor type of gear.
Yeah.
And then there's hhworkwear.com. The promo code works for both websites. So it's 20% off your entire purchase. So when you go and you pick out your items, when you're doing checkout, there's a promo code option. You do the promo code Crownsman.
Oh, there you go.
And you'll get 20% off. So this is for October, right? From October 1st to the end of October, yeah.
That's right. So all of October, 20% off using promo code Crownsman at hellyhansen.com and hhworkwear.com.
Yeah, it's such good gear. It's just so good. So, yeah, enjoy that and enjoy the rest of the show. We're going to get back to the interviews. Thank you very much. So, hi, Rory. Good morning.
Before you continue saying good morning, let me...
Good morning. Good morning.
Let me turn on Roy's
Can you see
mic.
my mic?
Ooh, I can hear you.
I can hear you loud
bring
and
it
clear.
out a little bit? There you go.
Perfect.
Yes, that's wonderful.
Okay. So what do we need to do now?
Well, we've been talking about some of the numbers. I got to get one more number out. It's the mining company spent approximately $7.8 billion towards the mining industry in 2015.
In Canada?
Yeah, so when we're talking to these, we're doing a couple of these interviews, that's what we're talking about, a $7 billion supply chain.
Okay.
Who do you got for us, Rory?
So I have Mr. Weinhardt from SGB, and they specialize in cast resin transformers.
Cast resin.
Yes.
I don't even, okay.
And it's sort of a spin on transformers that they've developed.
Okay.
And they've also got some very interesting projects that they've done with, like doing overhead electric, kind of like the buses run here in Vancouver. And they also put transformers on the wheels of these big haul trucks as well. So they're actually using predominantly electric power, saving a whole bunch of diesel fuel in these mines.
Okay, this is going to be interesting.
Absolutely.
So, and what? And they're a German company, are they not?
They are, yes. We met them in the German pavilion, I should say.
Yeah, there's about 8 companies over there. We've already interviewed one for Underground.
Yes, exactly.
What is this gentleman's name? I think you said it, but I didn't.
Mr. Weinhardt.
Mr.
And
Weinhardt.
that's his card.
Perfect. Okay.
Just don't lose it for me.
I won't. I promise.
Alrighty.
Okay. We'll
I
bring
will
Mr.
bring him
Weinhardt
in.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
We're about to get educated.
That's right.
We're going to do a little mic testing here.
It's good.
Hello, Mr. Weinhardt. Thank you very much. Please have a seat.
Good morning.
This is Gowdy. I'm Jared. Yeah,
Okay.
there's
There's a mic right there. Yep.
Yep.
And I'm just going to do a couple tests just to make sure the mic's all good. So I'm going to turn that on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You just got to turn it the...
Turn it the other way.
Yeah, you'll just do a little flip around. There you go. There we go.
There you
Then you
go.
can maybe do a little adjustment there so it fits your... there we go.
Alrighty. I'm going to ask you to bring that mic nice and close.
I've got a loud
we
voice,
go.
so we got to crank it.
Like this?
That's
Is that
perfect.
is that okay?
That is great.
Perfect.
Alrighty. I'm just going to ask you to introduce yourself just to make sure that we've got a good mic.
Yes. Okay. My name is Rüdiger Weinhardt, and I'm Director of Sales and Service with the company Starkstrom Gerätebau GmbH. In short, we would call it SGB.
SGB.
Perfect. I would have a very difficult time pronouncing that.
Yes.
Wow. But SGB.
Yes,
Okay.
SGB.
Perfect.
Yeah, so we're going to kick off, right? Just talk about the, we want to cover what your company is about. How you've expanded. You're in the Canadian market now, and just sort of go through it. So, how long have you been with the company?
I've been with the company now for more than 8 years.
Oh,
Always in the same position.
oh, really?
Yes, and it's really a company I enjoy working with. Why is this? Because there's a lot of sustainability within the company, a lot of people that are very senior. Um, I have already had people that we sent into retirement with 50 years being with the company.
50 years?
50, 50.
Wow.
I have in my this is unbelievable, isn't it? So
Started when
once
they were 15.
yes. They started with their apprenticeship and
Yeah.
then they stayed all their life with the company.
That's really a sign of a
Beautiful.
good company when
Yes.
you hear stuff like that. Yeah.
And I even have myself and my team in the sales team. I have people that are with the company for 40 years, with even their father had been working with the company.
Really, yeah. When Rory was talking about getting an interview with you, one of your sales reps was one of the first person when we were actually setting up. He was here, and and he mentioned that the first guy we met from the company was so friendly, and then he met you, and everybody. It was from top down, just everybody was so friendly. So it speaks a lot about
Yes.
a company and a company culture when it's very approachable. Everybody can talk, and I still see him out there walking around meeting everybody.
yes.
So, tell us a little bit about the company, the product itself. How it separates out from a lot of competitors. I know there's work on the haul trucks that they're doing, on the turbines. I know you're doing a lot of really good work. So,
Yeah.
could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Maybe first of all, what are we doing in general? There's, in fact, just one product that we manufacture, that is transformers. So we are given all our focus on making, manufacturing, servicing transformers. But these transformers are being used, for all sorts of purposes. Starts with power generation. So you will find transformers probably even in Canada with Hydro-Quebec, for water power plants, for nuclear power plants. They have the size of, I would say, a townhouse.
Really?
Very big, very
Wow.
big.
I might get you to move the mic just a little bit
a little
closer
bit
to your
closer.
mouth. I'm hearing a little bit.
Yeah, like
a little-
this.
Yeah.
Is it better now?
A little bit closer.
Or a little bit
Just
closer?
a little bit closer, I think.
There we go.
There we
Like
go.
this?
Yes.
That's good.
Perfect.
Is that good?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So these transformers are massive then.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then so that's for power generation. Then we also do transformers for power transmission. So that's the big lines that you usually see in the landscape.
Yeah, could you explain that system just a little bit? I mean, I don't, not the engineering side of it, but just the basic function of it. Because I know a lot of people that are watching aren't going to even realize that the mining industry is doing that. Here in Vancouver, the whole bus system downtown operates on a similar system, I believe. It's the lines going to that power the haul trucks. So could you explain a little bit about that system?
You mean the system about particularly for the mining industry?
Yeah, the transform, because I believe you have some sort of transformer it's powering these haul trucks. Is that right?
Yes. But maybe let me finish shortly.
Okay.
What the entire range is. So power generation. Normally, you wouldn't be needing that in the mining industry.
Right.
Power transmission, you already might be needing transformers, and we already supply transformers for the mining industry.
Right.
In power transmission, that is receiving the energy somewhere from these big lines going through the landscape and bringing it to the site. So it provides total energy to the site of an industrial plant. Can be a mining plant, can be a different plant.
Right.
And from there, it is then, that is the next thing that we do, it is distributed for various consumers. And in terms of mining, what do we do? There's, again, a variety of applications. There could be providing energy to the people working down in the shaft, for light, for driving the machines. You need transformers to operate the baskets, the rock winders and man winders that bring people down in the shaft, that bring material up and down the shaft. And we had I've been doing some unique solutions. One of them you already mentioned. That is electrification of these very big trucks running from an open pit mine to wherever it is unloaded and put on a train. What is so unique about it? Normally, these machines, these big trucks, they run on diesel.
Yes.
And with electrification, we were able to save a consumption of 1 million liters per month, which is not needed anymore. And you can imagine what kind of value that represents.
Unbelievable,
Yeah.
actually, yeah. So these trucks, I was quite fascinated. I mean, the haul trucks, right? Everybody someone who doesn't know anything about mining, they know the haul truck, the big truck that the tire's taller than the human.
Yes, yes.
And so are these sort of a hybrid of trucks, because they must have to go into unique situations that they haven't cabled in. So these trucks, do they start to come out of the pit and then hook up to these lines?
Yes,
Is that-
exactly. That's what it is.
Yeah.
For emergency cases, they still have the diesel motor,
Right.
but predominantly they are running on electrical energy
Yeah.
that is provided, and for this, of course, you need transformers.
And you must have a lot of competition in the space, but you have sort of a unique product. I mean, there's obviously a high quality of what you have as
Yes.
well. So what is the main separation of your transformers from a lot of other ones?
Yeah, first of all, of course, it's the entire approach that we, and it's also what the company is standing for, is quality, reliability. So somebody who wants to have just a cheaper solution on what they already are procuring, then SGB probably would be the wrong company. We are very proud of providing sustainable solutions, reliable solutions that last for a long time. There's highest quality standards that we apply, and there's also, I would call it engineered solutions that we do. Just to give you an example, we had been building in a mine in a sub-Saharan area that was in a copper mine, underground copper mine. We had been asked to provide a solution, a complete substation, mini substation for underground operation. And the requirement was to build it to a size that it can fit into a rock winder. It took us a little bit of time in order to do the engineering for it. In the first place, we lost the order. We lost the order to a company from the Asian market. But what happened? They provided a standard solution out of a catalog.
Right.
And then the solution got there, and they couldn't fit it into this rock winder. So fast it took maybe 3 weeks longer, but we came up with a solution perfectly fit and shaped into the rock winder. We could bring it down. It took them like a couple of hours, all the operation to bring it down to where it was needed.
So yeah, and that's something I think I didn't quite realize when you sat down. So you're not you don't have these standard sizes. You actually have engineers on staff that are customizing these to the solutions.
Correct.
Wow. And now, have you been in the Canadian and North American market for a long time, or are you entering the market now?
We are already selling transformers to the U.S. market for quite some time, partially out of Europe, mainly for the utilities.
Right.
We also do a serial type business with wind turbine manufacturers in the United States.
I wanted to ask you about those. Is those you're supplying? You're a major supplier to that, are you not?
Yes, we are probably, I would say, among the big three that supply transformers to the wind industry. Here in the United States, no, not here, but a little bit further south, in the US, we have an assembly plant that we built for a European customer that has a nacelle production in Colorado. And there we supply probably around 600 units for them.
Really?
Yeah, and these wind turbines, then they are erected in the entire North American market, including Canada, So there's definitely also quite a number of wind turbines that carry an SGB transformer in Canada.
Yeah, for such a company that's been around so long, you've been with the company 8 years. There's people been with the company for 50 years. You must see a big theme of this show. I mean, everybody that's coming is talking about new technologies, which is really, even a few years ago when I was at the show, there wasn't as much talk. It was a bit, but now it's every second conversation I have, or pretty much everyone, is about the technology. How has the technology changed it within your sector, within the transformers, over the last 10, 20 years?
You mean particularly for the mining industry or general?
Mining and generally, yeah.
Yeah, generally, if you look at a transformer like that we have been building and developing, especially the cast resin transformer that we are trying to promote here for the mining industry in Canada, it hasn't changed that much. So the principle stays the same. It's HV, high voltage coils, it's low voltage coils, and it's a magnetic steel core. So that's all the same. It is more optimization in the detail, and what is it mostly about? It is trying to build a transformer in order to reduce losses of a transformer, so to make it more energy sufficient. And I think this is a requirement coming from virtually every industry, be it in the mining industry, be it in a wind turbine, where losses really play a very important role.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not an expert on the wind turbines by any stretch, but I know one of their major issues that they face is wearing out and having to replace them. And so you at least in your product that's going into it, that's one thing that they don't have to worry about because of the longevity of the product.
Yeah.
How has the show been for you? Have you got good response?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just to come back to your earlier questions concerning our activities in Canada.
Yes.
So yes, for the mining industry, this is the first time that we come here.
Oh, it is.
In order to introduce ourselves, we had been very successfully introducing our solutions in the South African or Sub-Saharan mining market. We had been to a show last year in Chile, and after the success in Chile, then we said, "Where's the next show? Where's the next mining show that we could go to, in order to share, our successes with the mining industry?" And that was Canada. Right now, we are looking for a good partner, but not only a partner that is doing sales representationship, but is also doing parts of the entire solution.
Right.
So
a
real partnership.
So you can provide service on the ground here, yeah.
And do sheet metal manufacturing in order to house the transformer. So we had been some win-win situations. One example in South Africa, where local company, had been growing with us from 4 or 5 to today 20 people.
Wow.
So it's a combined engineered approach, and that's what we are looking for here in Canada as well.
Yeah. Do you notice a difference when you go, like Chile? Obviously, their mining is world class, and Canada. Do you notice a difference in interaction when you're at these shows, or is it?
No, for me, of course, it's a little bit easier interacting because everyone is speaking, except some people in Quebec, are speaking English. In Chile, everything is Spanish.
Yes.
You go to the mining industry. The largest operation or the largest mining company in Chile is Codelco, state-owned. And except some procurement people, the engineers, they all will be speaking Spanish.
Yeah, but they're definitely hungry to grow their economy there. So was that a quite successful show going there as well?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And the mining companies, in principle, they are all very international. So the Canadian have operations outside. The Chile mining companies, they have operations outside, or from outside. They are financing locally. So it's a very small community, to be very honest.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're going to try. You're going out there trying to find partners in sales. So I know we had to drag you away to get you in here, but I really do. Thanks for sitting down and talking to us.
Yeah. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Yes, thank you, and good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Yes, yeah. Oh, do we have get?
All right.
Well, we will send them to you for
Okay.
sure. And then this is
And
part
I
of a
just-
show we're talking about
Hello.
supplying mines in Canada.
I'm
So this
just
is
going to
worked into the
test my
show,
mic.
so we're
There's
giving some
something
stats and
funny
some
happening
information,
here. Oh, there we go.
Just about the industry
Alrighty,
and
Jared's
the numbers.
just
and then,
finishing
then
up
when you come in,
with
that's just worked into the show. So
our
it'll go
guest
online.
here.
Yeah, it's an online show.
But as
So-
for that, we actually
I
have
hope we have
another
to
guest
be a
coming
little
in.
bit, we have to be a
We're
little
just
bit
waiting on.
flexible
But I think,
because,
I feel like there's
because,
something,
obviously people are talking to customers
sure you
and that.
guys
So
can
we-
hear it.
we
It's
go
a
for
little
about an
something,
hour
and I
and a
think
half
it's
per
just
show,
Jared
and then when
moving around with the
someone's
mic.
available, they sit down. So I think
But
we'll
as
do
we
about 8
wait,
interviews today,
uh,
so yeah, it's gonna be busy. Yeah.
I will mention
But,
that
yeah.
you
So we're-
can actually
and, the
visit, if you
partnership
want to
thing,
know
we-
more
our
about
company
SGB,
does
you
that
can
kind of
actually
work.
visit their website.
that we- what we do
And I'm going to just make sure I've got the
Exactly, yeah, we
right
do
one
so we do
here,
market research is our
which
first
is
stage, and then we build a strategy of where you're gonna find your
sgb-smit.com,
partners, and then we will
and that's
actually
their
do the
website
approach and
there.
reductions, things like that.
Wow, and they're
I
definitely,
myself,
and
I've worked
they've
in
got
mining
locations
10 years.
in a lot of
Yeah, so
places,
I've been
U.S.,
these are our clients,
Germany,
we help them
the
get into this
Netherlands.
company.
And
We help them
our
get into
guest
the Spanish
was
market, the
Mr.
Latin market.
Weinhardt.
Um,
So again, we'll put that on the bottom
worries
there
about
for
your
you guys
information,
to
so possibly
kind of be
after
able
the
to see their
show and that, we
information
could
and
tweak a little bit,
who
maybe
our
to
guest was.
provide some support.
And if you have any questions as well, please let us know at Crownsman P. We're always there on Twitter and that. And let me say that the show is actually going really well. We just opened up at 10. So the show was open at 10. And we've already seen quite a bit of action happening. I also think that it might be a little slower of a day because it's such a nice day outside and it's the last day of CIM. So, or at least the trade show is the last day of the trade show. Tomorrow there are still a few workshops happening. And other events, mostly for delegates and VIP members. But today is the last day of the actual trade show. So I know that usually it gets, it's much more of a slow day, especially because people need to pack up. There's a lot of exhibitors who are having to head home, who don't actually live here, and dismantling everything. So we're going to have a bit of a big thing happening around here. But as for that, I think we're going to continue on with the podcast and more about supplying mines in BC. I've actually have a few notes that I've kind of been going over about all of that, and with my just talking with Jared and other companies, is that supplying companies. They play such a crucial role in introducing a lot of this new technology that we've been talking about, because they are the ones that are having to manufacture and create these technologies for these mines. A lot of the mines and the mining industry, they require certain technologies, and it's hard for them to be able to go and actually come up with them. So a lot of these suppliers are the ones having to do this. And I think that the more we move into new technology, I think more suppliers will have to kind of jump up and go into that. I know we've mentioned it today, there's so much more technology that or new technology that we're seeing when we walk around the booths. Compared to 2 years ago when we were here, we didn't see as much especially with like iPads or having to use your phones to do things. And now we see that it's not just that, but it's trying to eliminate some of this use of fuel, or to not completely eliminate, but to be able to incorporate less of it and use more electrical equipment. And I think that is very important for a lot of suppliers in order to be able to compete with the new ones. I mean, there's some I've seen. I was actually looking. I can't remember who I was looking at that has this new. I can't even remember what it was, but it basically shows you how to
what is it? How to get minerals out of this rock, or how to see it, that kind of thing. I can't even. I don't even know exactly. I was kind of looking at it, and again, I don't know very much about it, anyways. So it will be interesting, and I'll definitely have to find. I'll have to go and look and find exactly how that works, and I'll let you know more about it. But I have to say, just being here is kind of nice to. I work a lot more on the back end and get to see a lot of these clients and what they work with and their equipment or supply, or what they supply these mining industries or the mines. So it's kind of nice to see that there's a lot of different suppliers kind of moving into the new technology. Though I have to say that it's not always a good thing. I mean, I think that technology can always go wrong, and testing it and that it takes a little bit more time. But I think that we're kind of moving on forward to get everything nicely done and move into, or not just suppliers move into new technology, but also have these new minds kind of wanting this new technology as well, because not everybody does. And Jared's back.
I don't think I'm needed. That was awesome. Way to transition. Damn. I feel like I missed really good information, though.
Well, I was just mentioning, I actually saw a company that to be honest, I saw it and I was looking at it and everything, and I was like, and I can't actually remember how their product, how it works and that. So I now want to go back just because I kind of mentioned it and I have no idea how it works and anything, and I thought it was very cool. So now I want to go back and just kind of bring it back to make sure I can explain it properly.
Yeah, it's like going to school doing these interviews. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Rory's back.
Rory's back,
He was
so
gone
give me
for
a
2
second.
seconds. Do we have another gentleman?
Just give okay,
Yeah,
can you hear me?
You're good.
So yes,
Oh,
we're just
hold on a second. Whoa, you're like quite loud.
And we had some sort of hiss happening.
Really?
I think that's actually your mic. I think there was like something, because then when you took it off, it was something, and you were moving it around. There was something weird happening there.
So yeah, we're just waiting for the VP of Sales from Sandvik. So he'll be coming back shortly. Just wanted to update you, and also Marcus with Bombardier will be coming by at 3.
Fantastic.
Okay. Oh, that's going to be exciting.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've got quite a crew for us.
Yeah. So I was just updating you, and so I'm gonna go out and do some more confirmations. So
yeah,
that was all.
That was an excellent interview with SGB.
Yeah.
Nice guy. I mean, there's always that part when the camera turns on. It's a little bit different. And when we took off the cameras and I was chatting him to the side, how much of that was that a private conversation? Was I able to get the mics off?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay,
I didn't
good.
hear your
We'll
conversation.
we'll
so.
test. Just because it's about their confidential, but
Yes.
we'll check
Yes,
the tape
of course.
if it's getting
If it's-
picked up.
You gotta
then
cut it
we'll
out. Yeah, just cut it out.
That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so once we got the camera off,
Yes.
and then we started to chat. I mean, it was really good information. It was, and then it's just all relaxed.
Yeah,
and that,
absolutely, absolutely.
but he on the show he did talk about looking for a partner in that. So
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to continue on the conversation with him.
Absolutely. Okay, well that's really good.
You look like you got somewhere to be, so I'm going to let you go.
No, I'm just I probably got distracted by something.
Too much coffee.
No, or not enough.
Not
Okay,
enough.
well I'm gonna jump out though, and yeah, I'll be back to introduce.
So sorry. So you're just going to kind of watch for Sandvik and you'll.
Yeah,
bring in-
exactly. So yeah, I'll watch for him and I'll introduce him when he comes back. He's just in a meeting and he'll be back shortly.
Awesome.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope that buzzing wasn't too much to wreck the interview. But
No, I managed to kind of get it off here and there, but I'm hoping that we can eliminate that.
Yeah, we might in post. We might be able to.
Yeah, to eliminate that.
Yeah, we'll probably have to make a note in the title to like in the actual folder, just say that as a buzz sound
In
and
the
that.
background, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. I wanted so badly to get his name right, and I just didn't have a hope.
I don't know. I didn't even want to try. Mr. Weinhardt, I think is good for me. I don't want to. I think names are very important. I mean, there are names. I don't want to say it wrong.
Yeah, it's almost more insulting when you butcher someone's name.
Yeah.
Although I will say I don't really care. Like nobody says my name, right? If I talk to anybody from Latin America with a moderately thick accent, and I try to what?
Continue. Please continue.
This is just a fact. This
Okay.
is just a fact.
Okay,
I'm saying.
continue.
They always call me Jerry, which ironically is my father's name. So now I'm getting called Jerry, and I could correct them, but if I'm at an event, I don't really want to spend 3 or 4 minutes practicing my name. I'm not really there for that. So I go, yep.
So
Jerry.
there could be a lot of people that just think of you or
As
know
Jerry.
you as Jerry.
Yeah. So
Nice.
there's people walking around asking for Jerry right
Wow.
now. Right now in Latin America. I don't know.
I'm sure it's not just Latin America.
Well, yeah. Well, a lot of the customer interactions are from now we're making a lot of connections because the German Pavilion they have these 8 companies. So now we've
Yeah.
interviewed 2, and we're neighbors.
We're
right
neighbors.
Now.
They're
so we've been
literally
here
right
3
right in
days.
front
We've
of
been
us.
beside each other now.
Yeah.
But most of our work before was we ran campaigns into other countries, but for the most part, our firm has worked with the North American market and down to Central and South America.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's why I say mostly Latin. Now, if I go to France, they'll do the same thing to me. It might be worse. So they might. But I don't mind, Jerry. I don't need someone butchering my name though. Anyway. What were you talking about while I was?
I was actually just talking how crucial suppliers are in the mining industry, or not just crucial in the mining industry, but crucial in coming up with new technologies for the mining industry. Sometimes a lot of these like mines or mining companies don't know they require a certain technology until it's available to them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm always impressed by, and and I think it's a good lesson for anybody who's not in the position that some of the people that we're interviewing. You notice how friendly, straightforward, and very honest a lot of these these executives are. They give very straight answers. They know their product. They're very calm. They have a message that they want to get out, and it always impresses me. And I think sometimes we get the image that these executives, they don't want to talk. They're kind of in their own world, and I think a lot of times the reason that they are to the position. Oh, we're getting that
We're
buzz
getting
again.
that buzz again.
I wonder why that is.
It's weird. It wasn't happening before.
I think a lot of they get to those positions because they are open to new ideas. They want to grow their companies. They treat people well. That's why they get to the position. And this podcast isn't about business leadership, but
No.
you really can't avoid talking about it a little bit when you start. This gentleman, he was so kind and so polite, just very pleasant to talk. And everybody really, the higher up we go, it seems like the nicer and more personal
Yeah.
they get. And
I will mention to that. I've never been really. We're not part of the mining industry, but we do support the industrial sectors. However, because I don't know very much, I have to say that before it was kind of like you're right. You think of your executive, you think, oh my goodness, he's a very what would you call it? Serious person.
Yeah.
You might not be able to speak to them like it's such open way and that, but when you walk around and you actually get to meet them and talk to them, it's totally different. They're not like that at all. I think that's a total misconception.
Yeah, and I think that's why they're in those positions.
Yeah.
Because they are like that, and it still will surprise you. And then, but the irony of it is that a lot of times you will talk to a sales rep or someone in some other role of the company that's at a lower level, and they will be quite standoffish. They kind of don't want you to give their time, and you can almost identify within minutes that this person is going to be successful in the company, because the people that are aggressive. And we had a gentleman, now his name is slipping from me. He's the president of that technology that takes the picture.
Yes, Tom.
Yeah, Tom. Yes,
Tom,
the sensor technology.
Yeah.
And he talked about he's been a disruptor since he was in school.
That's right.
You know, and that's sort of their personalities. They don't these successful people, they don't fit the mold. And I think it's important to throw in it's both men and women because mining industry has been a male-dominated industry, like many industries, but I mean mining probably even a little bit more so. And now you're seeing more and more. We've been trying to book interviews. I tried to have an interview with a lady that worked for De Beers company, but she just wasn't available for the interview. But they're pushing beyond regular. You know, it's not about how many hours you had to work and how many vacation pay. I think they love what they do.
Yes.
And you get that sense. You know, they like disrupting the technology. They like growing their companies. They like growing their people. And it really comes across. It's really easy to see.
Yeah.
See a guy looking, he's eyeing the Martys. So, yeah. And I think, you know, one thing I noticed about, you know, we're talking about supplying the mining industry, and I noticed about the German pavilion is they have, it's going back to that same thing, they have so much respect for the Canadian mining industry, and I've sensed this from every single person I've talked to. They're happy to hear, they conduct themselves as if they are guests. They're not humble about their product.
No,
they
and
are.
Nor should they.
Yeah, nor should they be.
Yeah.
They know they have very high quality products, but they are guests, and they conduct themselves with respect, and you can see the response. I can see our former interviewee. He's over there and he's talking, and he's just very
Yes.
friendly. And
I've that's something else that I've actually noticed as well as I've walked kind of around, which you know, I've seen that they're so nice. You know, you see them smiling, they're open, like you want to stop by and talk to them because they look like they want to be here. Like
Yeah.
this is important, right? And everybody should be. So it's nice to see, like you just said, our former interviewee. He's just so smiley and upbeat.
Mr. Weinhardt.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. You know, that's the key. If anybody's watching, they're trying to get into the market. I mean, you're talking about a $7.8 billion. That's in 2015. I don't know. I don't have the stats from this year, but 2017. But I mean, you're talking about these companies, and don't get me wrong. This is competitive. These companies, these German companies, we're going to the Global Petroleum Show with a Korean delegation. The Korean government has brought in 11 companies to go there. I mean, this is a competition. They're trying to win, and I can't even stress enough that these small companies that are here, that are, it's getting that buzz, hey?
Yeah. It's just the weirdest thing. I'm not sure where it's coming from. I thought it was your mic, but your mic should be fine, so.
Could be, is there a cord that's loose, or
No, I've checked.
could be it could even be like this is on here or something.
Well, it's
It shouldn't be that.
It shouldn't, but
Well, it's just because this is sitting on this cord, so I wonder if maybe that could be doing it. But yeah, going back to my point was the smaller companies that are trying to penetrate a market that is very competitive. We were talking to Jordan, my brother from High G. He's got two major players, and I was watching him around just talking to people, and I mean he was trying to get some interviews for us, and then Brad from Ashdown Cap, Brad Kindle was here. And I mean, he was sending work over to us, saying, "Oh, you should talk to these guys," because he found, like, he does the financing side. We'll put a link in his website and in High G's. But they're working with us, and that sort of attitude. You see, Mr. Weinhardt is talking about trying to get partnerships, and you can just see that it's going to be successful because of that attitude. And then you walk up to a booth, and it's sort of they're standoffish. They kind of have an odd. They'll complain about why their product isn't getting into the market, and I know the feeling. We've tried. We've tried to get into the market, and you know what? We started this podcast.
yeah.
And started interviewing people. Start focusing on the industry, not focusing on ourselves. And you
That's
notice that these successful companies, and you don't have to be big to do it. Jordan's little company, Ashdown Capital, is not a huge company, but their attitude and the way they're doing, they are going to be able to enter and get a little piece of a $7.8 billion pie.
Yeah.
That's just in Canada. just in Canada.
Just in Canada.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I think that's a key takeaway here, and and I mean, there's other challenges. I've got a whole list here of things about funding. Getting the funding for
I think the funding is one of the major challenges.
yeah.
It's for anything. It's
Yeah.
just not easy.
Well, and it's really especially for like let's say you want to sell this little notepad I have.
How much? I'm kidding.
How much do we buy it for? No, this you can order $50,000 can get you pretty much all you need to penetrate a market. For mining, the equipment is so big. Not all pieces, but these transformers he's talking about that are the size of a house.
Yeah, like I mean.
Yeah, they're massive.
You can't really see them on here.
Oh,
you
there's one
kinda-
here.
Oh, there's one there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll show you. Give you an idea of what these
Yeah.
look like here. And
They're just massive.
yeah, and the capital it takes. So going back to treating, customer service, treat people good because you got enough challenges without treating your potential customers and partners. Not just if they're not buying from you. Treat everybody good. And but the capital that's required is just it's so big. So you look at a company, and I'm going to plug Ashdown a little bit because they were here at our show yesterday.
They're here
They're
today.
here. Oh yeah, did he? Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, Brad was just a class act here. I mean, you just couldn't ask for someone. He was a guest at our booth.
Yeah.
And giving us referrals and that. But their company, what they're doing is, they are helping companies get the financing who are trying to supply the mines. Because this is what happens. So, you sell to a big mine. Let's say Teck. They need new machines for Highland Valley Copper, up near Logan Lake, near Kamloops, and that you get the contract. Well, they might not pay for 90 days. I'm not saying Teck. I don't know their payment policies, but a lot of these companies aren't going to pay for 90 days. And if you've got to produce that product, how are you going to get funded? So companies like Ashdown, what they do is they go around and negotiate to the bank and say, hey, can you fund this invoice for me?
Yeah.
And that's a huge part, and that's where you got to create value for your company. Operate lean, because if you're going to enter this market, you're going to need funding. If High G gets an order of 10 concentrators, Jordan was talking about how they don't just go bigger and bigger sizes. They don't get the size of this conference room. They get multiple units to process.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
if someone orders 10, he can't come up with 800,000 and write a check, right?
Yeah.
So he gets funded. So companies like Ashdown are making sure that you get that funding and it's at the right rates, and they're negotiating. I mean, there's companies like Caterpillar that they finance it. They have in-house financing, just like buying a car. It's no different. But the one thing, and I think it's important to understand if you're trying to get your equipment, you're trying to get financed, is commercial financing is completely different than residential finance, or because it's based on a credit score. Right. I mean, you might get 0.1 or 2%, like when you're getting a mortgage, let's say. Commercial financing is based on the story that you can tell, and by story I mean our company does that. You're writing these business plans, doing the market research, showing your competitive advantage, helping to communicate to the bank and laying out a plan. How your managers are going to see things through if things get tough, and so laying all that out is kind of the first step. And then but if you don't, I lost my train of thought here because
Oh no, I think.
Oh, no.
Did you?
where did I go?
You got really deep into your explanation of the business plan, and you're telling the story.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm just going to move on. If you're trying to penetrate into these markets, you need to do all that, and you need to showcase to the banks. So a company like Ashdown, they can go and they can negotiate for you and get you a better rate, but they're going to have to have a good plan to showcase, and then the negotiations start. And that was my point, is that it's different than, it's not that's just crunching into a system. It's actually a negotiation process with the banks.
I see.
And so like there's banks like RBC, they do a lot of heavy equipment and lease. So I'm going to just read this out so I get it accurate. Banks like RBC buy heavy equipment and lease it back to operators for manageable monthly payments, so operators don't end up paying taxes on top of the equipment cost immediately. So that's from the other perspective of the mining company that needs to buy these transformers or needs to buy equipment from Sandvik. They're getting it leased, and so there's two different sides. Well, there's multiple ways, but there's one where you have the invoice from the mine. They're going to pay in 90 days, or you've given the invoice to the mine. So you show that to the bank, say they're going to pay. The bank looks at the company that is supposed to be paying, making sure that they'll pay. They look at your company, and then they'll fund you. The other way is that the mining company goes and gets funding, and they say, okay, we got to lease this equipment. We don't want to buy it, but we'll lease it, and then they write it off so they're not taxed. It's a loss and all the things like that. So it's really important to know, and I think it's so key when you're trying to penetrate a market, focus on the good product. I mean, you need a good, it's like a given. It's like providing good service. You just need to. You won't last in a competitive market if you don't provide good service, because we're all trying to win. If you don't have your finances in order, you don't have a hope in this business. It's too capital heavy. It costs too much, and you need to be able to get it funded. We need to have this topic, supplying mines in BC. I want to dig into this for multiple episodes, and I want to divide up the facets. Same with that sensor technology. It's the same thing. We need to divide it and dig in, because these topics are big topics as individual little pieces, and we need to dig into those. And that's, we want to provide value on this podcast, not just talk about, supplying mines, this is the numbers, here's an interview. We want to dig in and get people helpful information. We met someone, we were doing our little meeting before the show. We ended up having said that he's just a small company. He's based out of Kamloops. He's trying to get to market. He needs to understand these things. He needs to understand how he can get financed. He needs to understand how he can penetrate a market. He needs to understand who his competitors are. Even if it's a new product, if you're a disruptive product into a market, you need to understand how to disrupt it. We talked about that in the automation podcast. There's a transition part that they need to switch over in technology. You need to have that information. You can't expect the mine to say, oh, okay, we'll take this new tool, and this is how we'll integrate it. Do that work for them. So that multiple mines then can reuse that information. That's what organizations like CIM, that's where they become in, because they're doing that. They're doing research. They're writing articles. They're providing more information, and so that when a company can reuse it over and over, and you're saving money, you're making the companies more efficient, which makes the economy better. Then you can hire more people. It's just, there's so many spin-offs. So your prep work has huge impact. And I'm going off on this because small companies, I know small companies are listening to this show. The Caterpillars listening, they understand this stuff. They have some of the best people in the world doing this kind of work for them. But if you're a small company, you need this kind of support. It's so easy to go spend money doing all sorts of things and then cutting back on that business development, management, financial side, and that is not the place you want to cut, because that is the key to your business. These German companies over here, they're well funded. They've got good products, they've got good service, and they've got money, and they're connected with the right finance, and that's the difference.
And I mean that is the point of our podcast, of the Crownsman podcast, is not just to provide you with interviews of these great companies or any of that. It's to provide you the information, the knowledge, and introduce you to a lot of these companies who have gone through all of this, and who are still going through it.
Yeah, and Yeah, and as we get to know these companies better, we will get into more talking about the challenges they face because that's where the value is for people listening. I mean, they get to learn a little bit about the technology, but they're going to want to know, okay, how does this company do it? And we don't have all the answers. We do
No.
research. Something when we started, and I probably
It's funny.
personally.
You leaned in, and I was like, "Are you
Okay,
telling me
no,
a
no,
secret?"
no, it's not a secret. No, because I was thinking through it, so I went really quiet. I could talk like this all the time, and you wouldn't have to deal with the mics.
Yeah. Look at it. You're like.
Kind of creepy. No, when we started, we tried to put things in a box when we first started our company. Oh, we provide this service to this industry. We provide this service, and we found out so quickly,
doesn't
and
work
we
that
thought
way.
we could do it cheaper that way.
Yeah.
We could save companies money by, here's a checklist. It's not.
No.
If you're,
You know-
if you're a little company maybe, but
I think that a checklist is good when I don't even know when a checklist would actually be good because your checklist may need to change and evolve as you go because
Yeah.
you will never not every company has the same checklist anyways.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for everybody.
yeah.
So I think when you say a checklist, it's like but maybe that's not going to work for me.
Our job is to create a checklist for each company that comes, what they need to do, their steps that they're going to have to take to grow their business.
Yeah.
And it's important to not here's a print off of the last company we worked for.
No, it's not. It's not like that.
no.
It doesn't work.
Well, their market entry is, going back to these German companies, let's say they're trying to get into a new market. The LHD might need a more service, right? Whereas a transformer doesn't need as much service. It needs more customization off the top, but it doesn't need as much service afterwards. I'm not saying that it's the case, but as an example. So it's a completely different approach. Say there's some from the same country, they're in the same markets, they might even be the same size of company. There's similarities, but their market strategy, their entry strategy is completely different.
Yeah.
And I would say it too as a warning. If someone gives you a quote, I mean, we do consultations for $150,000. We do other stuff for $4,000 or $5,000. It really depends. When a company, we think, wow, that's a great deal. Beware.
Yes.
It's the same. The same thing with SGB talking to us. You got to know that they ordered another company ordered it from a
That's
lower
right,
end
like you
manufacturer.
mentioned, exactly. Because it was more affordable.
It was more affordable.
but it wasn't customized to what they needed.
They could.
Exactly.
And you hear about that stuff quite a bit. So in some applications it would work.
Yeah.
If you just need something that puts on the shelf and plug in, great.
Exactly.
Then it might work. But if you need something higher end, and I would say if you're putting your own dollars into a business, you're trying to grow a business, and you're getting finance from the bank, and you've taken a loan out on your house to do it, and you've done all those things. Don't, if one company is saying it's 25,000, another company is saying it's 2,000.
There's a reason for that.
Buyer beware.
Yeah.
And then of course make sure you're getting full value.
Yeah.
Check out the
mean,
referrals and.
But it may not always be that way. I mean, that may not be the situation all the time where the more affordable option is not the correct option.
Yep.
It may be the total opposite. Maybe
Absolutely.
someone's overpriced their service or their product, and it doesn't actually.
Maybe they're paying for a helicopter. I don't have a helicopter, so you're not paying for that.
Oh, neither do I.
Yeah.
So, but it can change.
Yeah.
But yes, always just beware of. I mean, it is your money, so.
Yeah, and talk to legitimate. Get referrals. Do the follow up.
Do the research.
And these companies, these companies are doing the same thing to you when they're buying, and have the same standard when you're collecting services. And and don't be afraid to get that extra support. It doesn't have to be from I'm sitting here kind of plugging us, but it doesn't have to be a company like ours. Just get the right people supporting you. Don't talk to an engineer about your finance. I mean, chat with them, but don't get someone like Ashdown to come in. You want a business plan? Get someone like us to come in. Get the right people doing it. It's not just about them understanding your industry. It's about them understanding this tiny little niche thing that you need that could make a huge difference. Difference. So I don't know where our
Our guest.
Yeah, our
I
guest
think
from Sandvik.
Yeah, I know he did have a meeting.
He did,
Maybe
yeah.
it went a little longer.
Yeah.
So that might be the case.
So I think what we'll do is we're going to take a break and come back.
Sure.
Come back when he is
Ready
he's
to go?
available.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
Sounds
we have an MLA coming in as well, so we'll
Perfect.
see how that goes. So we'll take a break and we're going to jump back into this podcast with Sandvik.
Sounds
We'll
good.
just pause it here.
Yeah.
And then come back.
And come back.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We are back. We're talking about supplying mining equipment, and we have a great company that supplied. I've known of Xylem for quite a long time.
Yes.
Raina's with us, and you claim that I can't say your last name.
That's correct.
So I'm going to chicken out and not try. So I'll let you introduce yourself.
My name is Rana El-Bitibsi, and I work for Xylem for almost now 13 years. Xylem is a global company worldwide, which has in every country and every province location. We are about 13,000 employees. We are covering everything for markets, from industrial, water, oil and gas, petroleum treatments. So we are everything with water. We moving water. We treat water. We do anything with water.
Yeah, so you're not getting into the slurry and things like that.
We do slurry.
Oh, you do
has
slurry.
water as well.
Liquid. Okay. Yeah. Just dirty water.
It's dirty water, yes.
We're talking about supplying the mines, so I'm very curious to know, because I know you deal with some very large scale projects.
Yes.
What's the biggest, or some large ones that you've supplied?
I did, actually, that was actually last year. So I did a big project with the Diebeck mines, that's Northwest Territory. And they were building a new dike there, so we had to clear out the water from the lake completely. So we did a design where we work with Canada Pump and Power, and we cleared completely the lakes. We designed pumps equipment to work on that. So it was a big project.
Wow.
So in that case, when you're doing a project like that, are you bringing in the engineers, or is the engineers coming to you and saying, with their specifications, and then you provide the product? How does that work? on something
The
that scale?
engineer has an idea already and a preliminary design. So he's bringing to us that preliminary design. And we work together right now to establish, okay, is this equipment going to be working with you? How its performance? Is it going to be delivering the result that you're looking for in the time that you're expecting? So that's how it works.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So how the equipment? I mean, there must be standard models, but is it also customized as well?
That's correct. Yes, it depends on. We have always what we call it pre-engineered, which is the standard modules, goes everywhere, and then the custom one, that's engineered one, that's based on the requirement. So, for instance, if the customer comes say, no, this none of the pumps available right now giving me the delivery of the flow and head that I'm looking for. Now we start working with the engineering to develop a design for him that meets his requirements.
So do you actually have engineers going out onto site, or like, how do you collect that data?
We either, as through our offices, they go and meet the customers, and we get all the information from them, or if it's really getting more sophisticated, we get our engineering people coming out from the head office, from the factory, to go and visit the customer and client and collect the information on that.
So it is quite a process.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I had a couple questions I specifically wanted to ask you. How often do your customers move pumps into different facets of operations? Like, now when you set up, are these stationary, or do your different types of pumps get moved around into different areas?
It depends exactly on each mine station. So every mine is different. Okay, there is a mines that they use a custom pumps that cannot be replaced or removed from a location to another location. Some other mines, they prefer to use standard pumps so they can move within the location. So it's easy for his replacement parts, for a repair, for maintenance, for their operator to handle. Not every time have to go through the manuals to read how it works. So it depends actually in the situation and on the mine.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that would lead to the challenge question,
Yes.
Which we love to ask, and that talks a little bit about technology. What's the challenge right now, or what are some of the big challenges you've had in supplying these mines?
Usually the major challenge is monitoring those pumps and the equipment and make it easier for the operator to handle far distance. Okay, so for instance, you have the pumps on the north territory where in the winter -50, -60 degree. You don't want to send someone to work with those pumps there. So you need to figure out how we can handle and monitor those pumps, how it works. Okay, I don't need to have send someone there and get freeze and come back and we can't even solve the issue. So the monitoring now. So we have a lot of technology that work with that. It's either we develop right now, which is a newest technology called the Concertor. It has a brain. So the pumps itself has a monitoring equipment inside that help with regulating the flow, sending an alarms, making sure that the pumps will not burn, and so on.
And how long has that technology been? Now that technology is implemented. You're
It's already implemented, yes.
And how long has it been available to the customers?
It's about right now 2 years globally and 1 year in Canada because we were going through the certificate for the CSA and mining certificates. Yeah.
Right. And how is the response?
It's actually getting great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's working fine right now.
And the main goal is the efficiency,
The
more
efficiency.
data. Is this real time data, or is it
It's
hooked
a
up?
real-time data.
Yeah,
If
so
it's hooked up to your system, monitoring system, it's a real-time data. Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's giving you, as of now, what's going on. Okay?
Yeah.
So you need even that, if it's connected properly, you can even say, send the signal, stop the pumps, start the pumps, what's going on, what type of alarm is going on there, how I can regulate the internal variable frequency drive to regulate the flow versus head, and so on.
Yeah. Have you got a chance to talk a lot? There's a technology theme across this event that I don't even know if it was on purpose, but everybody's talking about technology here.
It is, yes.
Have you got a chance to educate a lot of people that are walking around and now?
Yes, anyone comes through our booth, we actually going through that with them. So we provide them with everything that we have. So we have a technology versus from pumps, heat exchange, vertical turbines, controls, treatments. So everything within any of these brands, we have a technology, new technology that we address the customer, educate them, go visit them, give them training, education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You prepped your booth very well because some booths are very friendly, some booths are semi, but your booth is you're there and you're talking to people,
is,
and
yes.
I guess that's a bit of prep before to get.
We have to work on that. Yes, that's usually the challenge is to get the customers focusing on our equipment, how it works.
Right.
So, and we need always to figure out what is his pain point. So we work with him on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has it been a good show for you?
It
being
is.
here?
It
Yeah.
is actually. Yesterday was very busy. Lots of interested people, customers, engineers, consulting. So yes.
Yeah, I strolled by your booth a couple times. It's been a very busy,
It is,
very
yes,
busy booth.
yeah.
And that's a good
That's
sign
a
of
good
a
sign.
good company.
It is,
I mean, I've had customers that have worked with Xylem,
Yeah.
some of our customers, and it's always very, very, very good reputation.
Xylem has been on the market, I would say, in Canada here for over 60 years. So it's a quite long time.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And they live up to the brand for sure.
It is, yes.
Raina, I thank you. I know you are very busy, so I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but I thank you for joining the podcast and then taking the time to talk to
And
us.
thank you for having me there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll make sure Rory gets you a pin on your way out. Yeah, you can take those off.
Perfect.
Yeah,
No.
you don't have to get you don't have to get distracted by everything. So
Yeah.
Thank you, Raina.
Thank you.
Make sure Raina gets a pin on the way out.
Wow. That was nice.
That was nice.
It was very nice. I love that energy. She brought on a lot of energy.
Man, oh
They all
man,
do.
yeah.
Yeah. I've
Ro-
got
Ro-
Rory here.
Rory's back.
Whoa, Rory's back. Rory's back, and he's
Hi,
like,
guys.
super excited. And
Hi.
he's
Super
like,
excited. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go grab Adam from Big Steel Box quickly.
Okay.
Oh,
So he'll
fabulous.
be coming in. He just arrived.
oh,
Okay.
fantastic.
So he is. Now we've got.
We're behind schedule.
Right. Yes.
So
Okay. So Tom, Big Steel Box is at 12:30. Is he not?
I'm not sure, but I don't know where
he-
Tom is.
Yeah. Big Steel Box is 12:30.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, we never talked to him about it. That's the problem.
Okay. Maybe we'll talk to him and see if he can come in at
12:30.
12:30. Yeah.
But
Here
do
we
you
are,
have?
trying to schedule
But
live.
is Tom back?
Yeah. Tom, do you have Tom's number?
No, I just have his assistant's number.
Okay. If you can bring in Adam,
'Kay.
and then just watch for Tom though.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
I'll get Tom. Sounds
Perfect.
good. I'll be right back.
Thank you. Well, the show has stayed busy.
Wow, it's been incredibly busy.
Yeah. So.
And I think this is. I did mention that for the last day, I think people are, ramped up. It's the very last day. They want to get things done before they have to leave, because a lot of these companies actually leave today.
Yeah.
They pack up and leave, you know, to the east or wherever they're coming in from.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like your last day of like, I need to talk to this person. I need to talk to that person.
Yeah, it gets
So-
crazy. And I am listening, by the way. I'm trying to get caught up on my notes because I got Big Steel Box coming.
Big Steel Box is coming. Actually, here he is.
Here-
There
here.
he is.
Here
So
it is.
we're
So this is
gonna
going to
get
continue
him.
on with our mining supply. It's
Yeah, we're just continuing.
this is going to be a
on.
long podcast. I hope
This is-
people are
yeah,
enjoying
I
us.
think-
Hi, Adam.
All right.
It is Adam,
let's,
right? Yeah, okay.
Oh, you want to twist that one there. Okay,
So
we're
we've-
just going to test your mic here.
We
so
haven't
bring it up
actually
close.
met. Our organizations have done some charity work together.
Yeah.
But we haven't actually met. This is Gowdy.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So I'm going to have you introduce yourself.
Yeah. So I don't know where I'm supposed to.
Oh, you can just
Nope,
talk
just
to
talk
us.
to us.
We take
Yep.
care of the camera angles. And
Yeah. So my name's Adam Kaufman, and I work with Big Steel Box. Been with them for about 12 years, and we do portable storage that we rent and sell to customers, but then we also modify them as well.
so what's your position with the company?
So I'm a store manager for about four different locations.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. How many locations are there? Big Steel Box.
There's
Many.
about 25-ish or something
Yeah.
like that. Mostly in BC, Alberta, but we go out to Ontario. So.
Right. Does Big Steel Box, do they go out overseas as well, or do they stay pretty much within the Canadian market?
So we mainly service Canada. The boxes we can sell, and then people can ship them overseas if need be. The new ones come pre-certified for 5 years, so if someone wants to ship them overseas, they can. So.
Right. You do a lot of customization.
Yeah.
What are some big ones that you've done to the mines?
So I would say the most popular for
Oh, sorry.
no worries.
Yeah.
The most popular for mines would be tool cribs, office trailers, lunchrooms, hazmat units, which it stores oil drums and stuff like that.
Right.
And then we've done custom units as well that are wider and longer and taller and that kind of stuff as well. So.
Yeah. How customized does it get? I mean, is there a limit to what you can do?
Not really. I would say, labs are popular in the mining industry, and they can become quite custom. And usually can be 16 feet wide, where a standard box is 8 feet wide, and they're fully done with, HVAC system and instrumentation and stuff like that. So, they can be e-houses, electronic houses, and stuff like that. So, yeah, we can do simple and then complex. So.
Yeah. Are you seeing more and more portable becoming commonplace? I mean, I've been out to mine sites where they have solid structures that they built. Is there a lot of transition into the portable units now?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely popular for a mine setting. It's quick, it's simple. With a container, you can hook onto it with a crane, move it around site multiple times. You don't have to put a foundation under it. So a mine site being a remote area to begin with,
Right.
and it's very popular. And then also, mines might be only running for 20, 30 years, right? So at the end of that time, they can be shipped to wherever. So
Right.
So,
So you're seeing them. That was actually a question I had. Even in these customized ones, you're seeing them actually moving around the sites quite a bit.
yeah, I would say it's 50-50. Either the box sits and doesn't really move until it's end use, and then the other time, because it's a steel shell, that's the attractiveness to it, is that if you move it, it's quite robust. So we see them moving them quite often for sure. Yeah.
And I guess you would customize them knowing. Would you customize knowing if they're going to be moved or not? Is that part of that process?
I don't think we would build it different if it was being moved lots or not, because it's an intermobile container.
Right.
They're designed to be moved
Right.
with train or ship. So I think when we're done with the product, it can be shipped either way, and if the customer does or not, then that's up to them. But
I have one of my favorite questions to ask is the challenges, because a lot of the podcast that we do is talking about challenges that companies are facing, and obviously as other businesses watch it, they learn in related industries. So what is a challenge a company like Big Steel Box has when selling to mines or customizing or trying to get into markets?
Yeah, I would say for mining, the challenge would be, face to face with customers. Quite often the people that are purchasing at mines are at the mine, so it's building a relationship through, emails and phone calls and whatnot, and that's why we come to these shows, is to build that relationship with them. But yeah, that would probably be the biggest challenge, is having a face to face relationship with someone that is ordering from you all the time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I guess that leads me to Big Steel Box is such a well-known brand, especially in BC and Alberta. I mean, everybody knows it.
Yeah.
People that aren't even anything to do with the industry know the brand.
Yeah.
So when you come to a show, you're not so much trying to let people know you exist, but you are trying to get that face-to-face relationship.
Yeah, and then I think also let people know that we're not just BC and Alberta; we are across Canada. So,
Right.
That would be one message we like to share: is that if you're a company that has multiple locations across Canada, we can use our strengths in that area to service you, wherever you might be. So.
Right. I guess you get that message out here because this CIM, it switches back it goes out to Quebec. It goes Montreal, right? Montreal and back. So you get a lot of people coming from back east.
Yep.
So has it been successful, being at the show and getting to know people here?
Yeah, it's been great. It's been a busy 2 days, and we're lots of relationships and lots of opportunities. So.
Yeah. Well, Adam, I know there's everybody here at the show is busy, so I'm not going to pull you in for too long. But
no worries.
Thanks for taking the time to stop by.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. We'll swing by your booth a little bit later on and
Sounds
make sure you get a pin on the way out.
Yeah.
Thanks, Adam. We're going to wrap up this podcast because this is going to go as much as people love listening to us talk.
I think we've maxed out the allotted time.
There is no a lot of time, but there kind of is.
Yeah, it just hasn't been said. It's just kind of like hinted.
Yeah.
Like
Well, how long has this show gone for acquired when you put it all together?
about an hour, way over an hour.
No, that's not way over an hour. How way over?
Well, no, we've done here. I'm getting like an hour and 45, but I mean it could be more.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll wrap it up. Give us a quick plug for where they can watch these podcasts, follow us.
Well, you can watch the podcast on YouTube. We slowly put them up there, and on our website at crownsman.com /The Crownsman Podcast.
Yep.
Actually, no, I just lied. It's actually crownsman.com /podcast.
Right.
And you'll find
Good.
everything there.
Easier.
Yeah, it's definitely easier. And please follow us, message us, whatever you want, at Crownsman P on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Or follow Jared at Jared Downey.
Jared Downey.
Or myself at Gaudi Molina
Gaudi Molina.
2. I wasn't
Gaudi-
finished.
I'm
it's
sorry.
at Gaudi Molina 2. I was just interrupted.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
But yes, and we'll definitely add all our links at the bottom for you anyways, and a link for all the interviewees we had, all the different companies, their website, their contact information. If you want to learn more, contact them.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you for helping me out. I was stepping in and out, and you were providing the support, so thank you for that. Thank you for listening, everybody. We are going to be filming a new podcast within about the next 20 minutes or so. So
I need water.
we'll be back.
All
Thank
right.
you for watching, everybody. See you soon.